Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where skincare is all about progression over perfection because perfection doesn't exist. And welcome back to another When Beauty Turns Ugly. I mentioned a few times that I used to have a little obsession with tanning, like nothing too crazy, but when I went on holiday, I would purposely spend every day tanning. And we are talking factor 3, tanning carrot oil, laying on a sun lounger, burning to a crisp. Then at university, then when I moved to London, I'd also spend some time on tanning beds, maybe like once a week. You know, like the stand-up ones where you have to hold onto a bar and all the lights are around you. And I was under the impression back then, I had quite uncontrollable skin in the sense that I would break out all the time, no matter what. And I was under the impression that tanning would lead to healthy skin. I thought it was a good source of vitamin D. It would dry up my skin, thus drying up my spots. And I also thought that getting a base tan before going on holiday was a really good idea and something that was safe for my skin. However, we all know nowadays that all of this is complete BS. Like, none of it's true. I have naturally olive skin despite how I look on camera. I use so much sunscreen nowadays. But if I want to get a tan, I can within 2 minutes like that. I step out in the sun, olive skin. You know, I'm one of those people that people ask me where I'm from. Like, where are you from? However, nowadays I religiously use sunscreen. Religiously, because I've seen the damage that it can do to my skin. I've had face scans where I can see the sun damage under my skin from years of tanning. And I also see in headlines the damage that sunbeds can do to some people. I also don't enjoy the sun at all anymore. I hate the sun for many reasons, but I do feel like I'm alone in that, especially as a Brit. I feel like the Brits love summer. You know, the moment the sun comes out, it's shorts on, tank tops on, football club tattoos out, pink shoulders everywhere. The Brits love summer, they do. It's never sunny here though, you all know that, it's never sunny here. So people often look to tanning alternatives to keep their skin that kind of golden brown, golden bronzed. And tanning beds are, I call them tanning beds, I don't really know their solarium beds, I don't know the real name. Tanning beds are an easy way to do that for most people. Around 1 in every 10 adults in the UK still regularly use tanning beds, despite knowing the harm that these beds do. And it's also estimated that over 60,000 children under the age of 18 still use tanning beds despite it being illegal here in the UK. Despite there being so many other options like spray tans, gradual tans, self-tans in general, you know, they have really come a long way as far as like quality goes, but you still will be hard pressed to find an affordable fake tan that doesn't look orange and smell like cheesy Wotsits, you know? But there are some good options out there. However, as we know from these types of videos, people like a shortcut. People like the easiest way to get something done. So without sunbeds, without fake tan, without the actual sun, how are people getting this gradual tan? Well, fake tan. That's what we're going to talk about today. First of all, I'll be doing my skincare routine, of course. I'm going to go with a cleanser. It's the morning. I just cleanse my face with micellar water. Do you remember tanning injections, tanning nasal sprays, tanning pills, all collectively referred to as the Barbie drug? I'm not sure why, because I don't think Barbie, the white blonde lady, is known for like tanning in any way. It was a big trend a while back, but they're still being used to this day. So what is a tanning injection? Let's start with that. Tanning injections, aka melanin injections, aka melanotan 1 and melanotan 2, as they're scientifically called. Alpha melanocyte stimulation. Both work by replicating alpha melanocyte stimulation hormone in your body and stimulates the production of melanin. The more melanin your skin cells produce, the darker your skin tone is going to become. Is it legal? No, it's not legal to sell. However, it isn't illegal to own and use. That always baffles me because, I mean, surely they should make both illegal to stop it. If you can't sell it, why should you be able to buy it? Tanning injections are unsurprisingly unregulated, meaning the FDA don't approve them, meaning that once they're being sold, you can't always guarantee that what is said is in these injections is actually what's in the injections. They might just be piling any old shit in there, and some of that shit could be poison. There are so many risks, unsurprisingly, from tanning injections, from kidney failure to erectile dysfunction, and actually skin cancer as well, which a lot of people take these tanning injections and nasal sprays and tablets because they think it's a safer alternative to actually sunbathing. Healthline reports that there are at least 4 case reports of melanoma emerging from moles after the use of melanotan. There is also some new evidence that the use of melanotan is linked to the emergence of new moles. Those moles that you have to keep an eye on and are usually a sign of skin cancer. They go on to say that in one of the case studies, a 20-year-old woman was referred to a dermatology clinic after developing a jet black mark over her glute that was later diagnosed as a melanoma. She had been injecting melanotan 2 every day for at least 3 to 4 weeks. Before my skin dries out, I'm going to go in with a toner. This is the Piankyang Black Tea Deep Infusion Toner. It's just a really nice hydrating toner. I will be linking all products in the description box for you to check out for yourself. So, self-proclaimed tanning addict Aaliyah Johnson started to use the tanning injections despite actually being already diagnosed with skin cancer, because she was led to believe by online sellers, you know, the Huns on Facebook that was selling this and using this as well, that it was a safer alternative to sunbathing. She didn't know that there were reports of people actually getting new fresh moles from these injections. And she actually developed skin cancer from tanning beds. Aaliyah said that stupidly, she didn't even look into the risks of the injections. She never even thought about them. She says that her friend had been using them for ages, and she said that her friend said that they were perfectly safe to use. She was like, great, I'm going to start using them. And her only real concern was that she was going to go a bit too dark, 2 shades darker than she actually wanted to go. She spent £300 on a course of 12 injections, and they were marketed as the Barbie jab. However, back in 2012, the death of bride-to-be Jenna Vickers made headlines after it was believed that tanning injections actually killed the 26-year-old. Vickers was actually found dead in a tanning booth, slumped over, and by the time the solarium staff got there, it was too late to save her. And Vickers was actually known to be a user of these tanning injections. She would almost kind of document her process over on her Twitter page, and in a tweet 1 month before her death, she says, "Getting a lovely tan now, and I've had no side effect. Very happy bunny." Because of this news, the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency made a statement warning about the unregulated and illegal to sell injections, reminding the public that they cannot ensure the health and quality of these products because they are unregulated. They could be poisonous and life-threatening. Next up, I'm going to go in with a serum. This is the Dear Lucy Marine Antioxidant Serum. I'm pretty new to using this, but I've been enjoying it so far. As someone with easily sensitized skin and rosacea, antioxidant serums can kind of like break me out a little bit and irritate me a little bit, but this has been very nice to use and very gentle. So after seeing this article and actually breaking out in really painful blisters, Aaliyah Johnson immediately stopped using her injections before it was too late, basically. She said that when she read about Jenna, she felt physically sick and she couldn't actually believe that she was injecting herself with this stuff. Thinking, you know, that could have been me, she said. She says she felt like an idiot, especially after being diagnosed with skin cancer, and the fact that she just didn't look into any of this and that she was led to believe that it was safe. She said, "I could have given myself cancer all over again, all for the sake of being brown." She says, "Now I'm happy being pale. Risking your life for a tan is just ridiculous." She says, in hindsight, it sounds crazy, but all she cared about was being brown and having that tan. She actually believed not having tan could potentially stop her from getting work in case she was way too pale. I mean, that's not something I've heard of before. I don't know. Are people discriminated against for being too pale? Possibly, I don't know. It depends what line of work she's in. Oh, she was a model. That's why. And these kits can still be found online today. Like, I literally Googled self-tanning kit and found this one here. I found this on the first page of Google, selling for as little as £24.50. And some of these kits actually claim that they can help prevent skin cancer by giving you this base tan, which we all know is a load of bullshit. But there's another product that makes me worry even more, and that is the nasal spray. The nasal spray seems a lot easier to use. Younger people are using it, despite it being the exact same thing as the injection, just in nasal spray form. It enters your body through the mucous membrane, then kind of does the same thing. Again, illegal to sell, but not illegal to own and use. And as I mentioned, it seems more dangerous because this is a trend that kind of took TikTok by storm. It went very, very viral on TikTok, but it was very even like young teens and young adults that were just using this, and they were kind of peddling it as this like pre-sunbed tan accelerator kind of thing, but that's not how it works. One of the younger TikTokers promoting this nasal spray was Lauren Primrose. She claims that after being gifted the nasal spray in a kind of like agreement to promote the nasal spray, she pretty much became addicted to the use of it and her tan and the results that she was seeing without knowing a single thing about its horrible side effects. And that's the thing, the brand didn't tell her anything. The brand probably just told her it was a safe alternative to tanning, the usual stuff that they peddle online. However, just after her very first spray of the nasal spray, she felt sick, she felt dizzy, her nose burnt, but she still continued to use the products for about 8 weeks. Now, she was in a BBC documentary talking about her tanning addiction, let's say. And she said to this day she still uses sunbeds, but she doesn't use the nasal spray anymore, and says how it's important to know what is in the products that you're actually spraying up your nose. In the BBC documentary, she admits that she did zero research on the product before promoting it to her followers. Now, this is usually something that would really piss me off, like I'd get really annoyed about it. However, the term influencer is used very lightly here, I would say. Not to discredit her in any way, but it seemed like at the time she was kind of just starting her influencer journey. So, you know, you make mistakes along the way. She's very, very young. And, you know, when you're at that early stage and you're a young teenager, a brand is giving you free stuff to use that they're telling you is safe, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. And I feel like the brands target people like Lauren Primrose, younger, impressionable, early on in their career. They target them on purpose in order to push out their product and kind of keep it under wraps, you know, because again, this is illegal to sell. If you see bigger influencers selling this, they'll probably get in trouble. She does realize her mistake, however, and she says that she does have a responsibility to check what's in the products that she's selling to her subscribers, her followers. She says, I think moving forward, when companies want to send me products or want to work with me, I definitely need to obviously ask a bit more about it rather than just saying, yeah, okay, I'll take it and do you a favor. Lauren got away pretty much unharmed. No real damage was done other than feeling a little bit sicky. Yeah, pretty much unharmed, especially compared to 38-year-old Sarah Ashcroft, who was not only using the nasal spray, she was also using tanning beds and also injecting herself with the tan injection all at the same time. And because of this, she has now developed a skin condition called actinic keratosis. I think actinic, which to put very simply is dry, flaky and itchy skin caused by severe sun damage. And her dermatologist told her that in her case, her skin was in a pre-cancerous condition. This isn't always the case with that skin condition, however, unfortunately for Sarah Ashcroft, because of everything that she was using, this was the case. Tanning nasal spray mixed with sunbeds and tanning injections effectively tripled the amount of skin damage that she was receiving. Okay, I'm going to use a moisturizer. This is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Pink Juice Moisturizer, one of my go-tos. It's just good for daytime, moisturized, hydrated, glowy skin. Her dermatologist actually put her on a course of chemotherapy cream to attack those precancerous cells in her skin, and luckily for her, it worked. After weeks and weeks of treatment, however, this is now something that she has to live with. This isn't a condition that's going away. It's something she can manage, but it's not going anywhere. And she'll have to receive regular treatment for this. So yeah, while those products are illegal to sell, not illegal to use, tanning beds are still legal, which I find really strange. Knowing what we know nowadays, I find this very strange. And despite there being around 2,300 melanoma skin cancer related deaths a year here in the UK, according to figures from Cancer Research UK, they're still legal. In fact, scientists here in the UK from the University of Manchester are wanting a complete ban on sunbeds, and I'm on their side. I'll admit I'm on their side. They claim that their research found that a ban on indoor tanning would result in 1,206 fewer cases of melanoma and 207 fewer deaths, while saving the NHS over £700,000 a year. £700,000, that is. You know, and as skincare obsessed people, if you're here on this channel, we all know that there is no such thing as a safe tan, and I used to think, going back to what I said earlier, that these sunbeds were a safe form of tanning, but we know there is no safe way to tan. Susanna Daniel, who is CEO of Melanoma Focus, and says their advice is not to use sunbeds at all. She says there is no such thing as a safe tan. Particularly if you've got pale skin or lots of moles, we would advise not using them. She says sunbeds give out a greater dose of UV rays than the midday tropical sun, and what these UV rays do is damage the DNA in your skin. We know that. But will banning sunbeds actually work? Because they did it in Australia, kind of. Kind of. In Australia, whilst it's legal to own and run a solarium or charge somebody for using a sun tanning bed, it is still legal to own one in your own home. So people are just buying them and putting them in their home. They're very easy to purchase online, and as long as you're not charging anyone a fee to use yours, it's still perfectly legal. This is obviously going to drastically reduce the amount of people using them. I don't know how much they are. How much are they? Like a couple of grand? Not everyone has that just to get a tan, you know? But people were, according to one story, which I'll link down below, there are still like illegal pop-up solariums, like underground solariums in Australia. And I always think, why do people keep using them despite knowing the dangers? It kind of reminds me of smoking, right? So then I got to thinking, is tanning addictive? Because I used to, honestly, I used to love it. Like, once I finished one sunbed, I'd look forward to the next one. Because I kind of got this like, oh, I feel really good about myself. I probably look good. My skin's like a nice golden brown. I want the next one. I want more, more, more. So I guess you can say it's addictive. Well, actually, according to the Skin Cancer Foundation, yes, it is addictive. According to a 2017 study conducted by researchers at Georgetown University Medical Center, 20% of the women, 20% of the women who tan show signs of tanning dependency. The research ran 400 women through a set of mental and behavioral tests, both before and after a tanning session. Those who were labeled as having an addiction strongly believed in the physical and mood-boosting benefits of having a tan. They were convinced it enhanced their appearance, their attitude, like I thought too, ultimately making them feel better about themselves. However, once the feeling faded, the tanning bed users showed signs of depression. And I get it. There are certain things I do that give me a real boost and I want to keep doing, that I get enjoyment from, and I get it. I used to smoke when I was younger. Sorry, mum. I just watch these videos. Smoke for a little bit. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. I used to go on sunbeds. Liked it a lot, but so I get why certain things can be addictive and wanting to chase that next kind of like, you know, high of feeling good about yourself and enjoyment. Deborah S. Sarnoff, MD, who is the president of Skin Cancer Foundation, also would like to see a full ban on tanning beds. And she actually offers a few tips for those people who do get that kind of like addictive feeling to it and have a hard time giving up tanning. She says, get a spray tan. Easier said than done. I'll be honest with you, a lot of them look shit. A lot of them look orange. She says even hitting the gym can replace that endorphin rush that you get from tanning, giving you that same feel-good attitude and sensation. She says in general, taking good care of your body is going to give you that same rush of excitement, that mood-boosting feeling that you get after you step out of a tanning solarium. And I'll be honest, I don't like self-tanners. I think they pretty much look shit. I know my brother found one that he really likes from Space NK. I'll ask him and I'll link it down below. James Reed Tan is another one that I know a lot of people absolutely love. That looks very nice and natural. I'm just going to finish with the Isoy lip treatment, a very slightly tinted lip balm. And I'll be honest, I do think, knowing what we know now and the dangers of skin cancer and, you know, the constant research that is coming out on findings, we shouldn't be using sunbeds. No one should be using sunbeds. I do think it should be illegal. I don't think cigarettes should be sold either, knowing what we know about them, but they still are. What can you do other than be knowledgeable about what the potential side effects are? Anything that you have to inject, anything that you have to spray up your nose that you can buy online, I would highly recommend against using. I personally think for obvious reasons, but let me know if you've ever tried any of these. Don't be shy. No judging in the comments. Definitely a sunbed user here, ex-sunbed user here, but let me know if you've tried the injections or the pills or the nasal sprays, or if you know someone that has the Barbie drug, in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. You can watch the full When Beauty Turns Ugly playlist here. So in general, light entertainment here, and I'll see you over there.